Welcome to Dr. Karen Health Talks. I'm Dr. Karen, and I'm going to be doing a series titled The End of Alzheimer's. I know so many people, including myself, who really want to preserve this amazing brain of ours and learn what we can do. And a new book came out that I so was waiting for. I'm so excited. I've just heard about it, and can you believe I was at Costco the other day, and there it was, which shows you how popular it's going to be, because Costco only have books that they know are going to be huge sellers. So the title of the book is The End of Alzheimer's, and it's the first protocol to enhance cognition, which is thinking and reverse decline, at any age. And it's by Dale Bredesen, Bredesen, MD. And the foreword is written by one of my favorite authors that I speak about a lot, Dr. David Perlmutter. Dr. David Perlmutter wrote the book Grain, Brain, and Brain Maker. So on today's podcast, I'm going to actually talk about a specific chapter in this book that I could not be more excited about, because it's everything I have believed, it's everything I teach, it's what I'm passionate about in terms of lifestyle medicine. And my last blog I wrote, What is Lifestyle Medicine? Just so you know what I mean by that. The chapter is called A New Kind of Vaccine, which is very interesting considering the world that we are living in right now. Now, you all know what a vaccine is, of course. And there's a difference in the kind of vaccines that we go searching for when it's a specific infectious agent. But there's been some talk about an Alzheimer's vaccine. And I just was really pleased to hear Dr. Bredesen's commentary on this concept of a vaccine. And the vaccine that we need to prevent Alzheimer's is very different. Let's just call it a 21st century vaccine for 21st century diseases, because Alzheimer's looks very different than something like polio, which we have a vaccine for, or smallpox, which we have a vaccine. This kind of vaccine for Alzheimer's is not an injection, but it's what he calls an unjection. I love that term. It's an unjection. It's a personalized program. And it's derived from many critical parameters that contribute to Alzheimer's. These all come from lifestyle medicine. And these parameters really dig into some of the big advances in nutritional science, from the genome to the microbiome to the metabolome to the exposome, which is our environment. Now, all of these things, all of these lifestyle factors contribute to cognitive decline. And what Dr. David Bredesen is saying is that this vaccine will actually be a computer-based algorithm to identify the specific kind of Alzheimer's. Yes, there's all kinds of Alzheimer's. And it's important to know for effective prevention and treatment what we're dealing with here. So there are things like insulin resistance, which I speak about a lot. This is when your body does not process insulin correctly. And this insulin resistance contributes to an increase in your Alzheimer's disease risk. Insulin resistance can be reversed. If you have unrecognized chronic inflammation, as millions of Americans do, then you're at increased risk for Alzheimer's. Inflammation can be identified and mitigated. If you're deficient in zinc, the mineral zinc, which actually billions of people globally are deficient in, or if you're deficient in vitamin D, D for dog, you are at increased risk for cognitive decline. All of these things can be addressed. That's why we call it lifestyle medicine. So if you put all of these things together, then this is what we are going to call the 21st century vaccine for Alzheimer's. It's not an injection with a needle stick. There's no mercury. There's no risk of paralysis. But in some ways, it's going to be even more effective than the old-fashioned vaccines, because it's lifestyle. Just as there were global projects to vaccinate against smallpox, so we should have a global project to prevent and reverse cognitive decline. utilizing this 21st century vaccine. Let me repeat that. Just as there is a global vaccine and a project to educate people about smallpox, so we should also have a global project to reverse cognitive decline. This is the way that we can eradicate all of these chronic illnesses that are killing us today. And I talk about them all the time. These are chronic diseases with the root cause in inflammation and insulin resistance. Low vitamin D, low zinc. These are Alzheimer's, yes, but also Parkinson's, macular degeneration, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and on and on and on. These should all be and can be rare diseases. What a thought. If we practice lifestyle medicine, instead of them being huge contributors of ill health today. So this 21st century vaccine is about lifestyle medicine, and I am going to continue on my path to educate. And if I need to call it a vaccine for the 21st century, that's what I'll call it, because that's what gets people's attention. We're talking about vaccinations all the time with this pandemic that we're living through today. So I highly recommend this book. It is packed full of great education. It also gives you indicators for important biomarkers that you need to be measuring, including vitamin D. And Alzheimer's disease can sneak up on us, but there is so much we can do to prevent this cognitive decline, and it's all about lifestyle. So stay with me. I'm going to dig in a little deeper to some of the biomarkers that you need to be looking for in your blood tests to really start to evaluate your risk. There are nutrients and hormones and toxins that, if you work with a correct practitioner, you might want to order these additional critical tests, which give you biochemical and physiological markers associated with cognition. These are tests that doctors don't usually order. They're markers for inflammation, like highly specific CRP and fasting insulin levels and your HbA1c and your homocysteine. I know that you don't have these routinely done, but if you want to get on this path to support optimal cognitive health, these are biomarkers that will be hugely supportive to you. There are toxin-related biomarkers like mercury and lead and arsenic and cadmium that can be tested by your functional doctor. And there are other tests like vitamin D, like your stool analysis to look at your microbiome. And so I'm going to dig in deeper because every podcast brings you rich information. And I am on a path now to really focus on supporting optimal cognition and making Alzheimer's a rare condition. So stay with me because this is a journey that we can go through together. So this is Dr. Karen Wolf. It's been a pleasure to be with you, and stay tuned for my next podcast, which will continue on with this journey of optimizing your memory and your thoughts and your brain. Yes. Bye for now.